What's up everyone, MeJP2 here. In today's video we have something that I've wanted to try in the Master League for a while now, and that is Kyurem Black with Stone Edge. When I first noticed Kyurem having access to Stone Edge, I knew I was going to want to do a video with it, but I was waiting to get my Kyurem up to level 50. It's still at level 49, but with the Best Buddy boost it gets to level 50, so it is technically level 50, but I do need a bit more candy for it. But anyways, Stone Edge is very fun. Now the reason that I have Stone Edge, the reason I thought it might be useful, is because Kyurem White takes 8 Ice Fangs to get to a Fusion Flare, and Kyurem Black takes 8 Shadow Claws to get to a Freeze Shock. But because of the fact that Stone Edge takes 7 Shadow Claws, people will just assume it's a Fusion Bolt and that I just misclicked. And so they'll just easily let it go thinking it's a Fusion Bolt. But then they get hit with a Stone Edge, and the Shadow Claw damage onto the Kyurem will put them into a range where the Stone Edge KOs them. And basically, they just are down to full Pokemon at that point, and it becomes pretty easy to win the battle. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Let's get to the battles. Into the first battle, and we lead Kyurem Black into Kyurem White. Now, here I am going to throw immediately, because it's not enough for a Freeze Shock. So my opponent is probably going to be thinking that this is just a Fusion Bolt. Boom. Their Kyurem is gone. Now, the opponent obviously very surprised by that, and they wait a second before sending out Dialga. Now, I have 2 Steel types, so I'm going to immediately send out my Necrozma just because if they have something in the back that's going to beat Steel types, I need to bait it out. And they have a Rhyperior, so it is a good bait. Now, it is also good because Rhyperior, both of their charge moves, or at least the normal ones that they would run, are resisted. So now, Necrozma, just going to double Dark Pulse. Opponent's going to double Shield as well, which is an interesting decision. And I could have probably sent out Melmetal here and been fine, but I just decided that sending out Kyurem and getting some use out of it here would be good. Now I'm also just going to be at a Freeze Shock, so now it's going to be really difficult for me to lose this game, just because of the fact that Freeze Shock will take out either of their Pokemon, basically. Now at this point, I did something kind of stupid. They're waiting for me to throw a Superpower and debuff my defense before they throw their Nuke move. And so I do a double Iron Bash, probably thinking that they're going to go for the move right after, and they do. And now I do decide to farm them down, which is a very stupid decision because they make the Roar of Time, which does take me out. I send in Kyurem, and they pivot back out into Rhyperior. Rhyperior gets Freeze Shocked though, and Dialga gets farmed down. This should not have been as close of a win as it was. I should have just beat them straight up, but thankfully it's still a win, but I do need to play a bit more carefully in the future. We see Florges in the next battle, just going to catch the move onto Melmetal. They do Trailblaze, which, that's fine. The boost is immediately negated just because of the fact that they switch out. And they're going to send out Palkia. Now Palkia, it's interesting. Now double Iron Bash, I did get a Hundo Melmetal that I evolved. It's actually that little Meltan that I use in previous videos. I'll get another Meltan for Great League eventually. But I just needed a Melmetal right now. My other one has pretty awful IVs, so that's why I have this Melmetal now. But so, double Iron Bash doesn't do much, but I didn't want to debuff myself. And as you can see, their Palkia lives on, I think that's quite literally 1 HP. Regardless, they send back out Florges, and I'm just going to Freeze Shock them. They either keep their Florges, or they get one shot. They have to go down a shield, and now I'm just going to throw away Kyurem. They Disarming Voice me though, which is interesting. I did think that was going to be a Trailblaze, just because most Florges are on Trailblaze and Moonblast. But I'm just going to Freeze Shock the Florges, it's gone, and out comes a Rhyperior. Now, they understand their win condition is to just fully fast move me down, which personally I find very annoying. And it looks like they're going to, but we actually get the damage registration error. And technically, if the game worked right, I shouldn't have won that. I should have gotten fully Mud Slap down, but we do take the game, though. See Metagross on the lead in the next battle. Metagross is pretty good lead for Kyurem just because of Shadow Claw and Fusion Bolt with the pacing. Opponent didn't even realize I'm not on a Fusion Bolt though. They send out Gyarados, and I do make a slightly stupid mistake. Yes, Melmetal is the better switch here, but I did it for the wrong reason. I did it just because Thunder Shock hits were super effective, but my other 2 moves are resisted. So, not the smartest plan on my end in the end, but it does work out. Now, double Iron Bash does not take out the Gyarados, but now their Metagross will come in, and it'll get a decent amount of farm. So I'm just going to go for a Superpower, and now I'm going to go for the other Superpower that I have. This one will get them into the yellow, and now I'm just going to send out Kyurem. The opponent, oh no, they send out a Kyurem. They probably think this is a Fusion Bolt. Oh, that felt so good landing that Stone Edge. The opponent immediately concedes the match because they go down to fast move pressure at that point, and we do take that game. We see a Rhyperior only in the next battle. Not the best lead, but the opponent does not even build up to the Rock Wrecker. I tank a Breaking Swipe. Yeah, it's super effective, but I tank it. I'm just going to bank a Free Shock and send out Melmetal. Melmetal will be able to make it to a double Iron Bash. This will hit for some okay super effective damage. I think it does about a third, maybe a bit more, but the opponent does shield it. They Rock Wrecker me, and now I'm just going to be going for a double Iron Bash. This one will deal some okay damage, and now this next one will get them to get taken out. So, double Iron Bash gets the shield. At this point, I'm just going to snipe them with a Stone Edge. Now I just have Necrozma up 2 shields. Opponent sends out Dialga, and I don't make it to a Free Shock here. If I tried, I would have gotten farmed down, so I do have to just settle for the Stone Edge. Stone Edge does a respectable amount of damage though, and out comes Necrozma. Opponent has a Kyurem, but it's way too late at this point. They can Shadow Claw me if they want, and Fusion Bolt, but I have 2 shields. Being down 2 shields is very difficult to win once you're down that. So now, they're gonna get hit with the Sunsteel Strike. Goodbye, Kyurem. And now I try to make a fancy catch on the Melmetal. Kind of stupid on my end, but at this point, I know I have a shield and I have a Sunsteel Strike. So, just take him out and we take the game. Into the next battle, and we lead Kyurem into Landorus Therian. Now, having Stone Edge here is actually better, because Stone Edge can hit for neutral, where Fusion Bolt would be resisted. The opponent probably will just think this is a Fusion Bolt. They let it go, they get hit with a Stone Edge. And now Kyurem can tank a Stone Edge of its own. Opponent does Sandsteer Storm me, and they don't even make it to another one. The opponent sends out Palkia, and now Palkia will have to eat a Freeze Shock. Doesn't even matter if it's debuffed, this gets him into the yellow. They shield it, and I just pivot into Necrozma. Opponent sends out their own Kyurem, but this thing's kind of behind energy now, and so I'm just going to Sunsteel Strike straight up. I think I make 2 Sunsteels before they make it to enough Fusion Bolts to take me out. But at this point, I do make the realization that, sure, they can take me out, but I have Melmetal, and Melmetal with the double Iron Bash spam should just be able to take out the Kyurem. Seems like my Shadow Claws have got them into double Iron Bash range, so I'm just going to go for that. I actually do decide to go for a Superpower here, thinking it'll get just a bit more damage, and then maybe I can farm him down. Kind of a dumb play on my end. Opponent then sends out Palkia, trying to get a snipe or something, but I'm able to make a catch onto Kyurem, which works out very well. And now I do the same thing where I throw a double Iron Bash before I throw the double Superpowers, and I just pray it doesn't cost me. At this point, I go for another double Iron Bash. I cannot explain this play. 2 Superpowers KO here, and so it's very just not smart on my end. Now I am going to go for a Superpower here. I don't think this KOs though. As you can see, it doesn't, and now I fail the farm down. I probably should have won this battle because I would have had a move for the Pokemon head in the back, but I do lose because of the weird playstyle that I chose. Now we see a Kyurem White on the lead in the next battle. We know the drill, we're just going to go straight Stone Edge. They probably think this is a Fusion Bolt, probably thinking I miscounted. Goodbye, Kyurem. And now let's see what the opponent does. They send out a Necrozma, and at this point, they're going to have to go for a Sunsteel to take me out because a Dark Pulse will not. So I'm just going to go for a Free Shock. Free Shock does get the shield, no debuff unfortunately, but the Shadow Claws have already got them into half. So they're going to Dark Pulse me. I'm going to send out my own Necrozma. We get 1 turn bring in. Very nice. And so we're going to have to shield this Dark Pulse. Now, I will just be able to go for a Dark Pulse of my own before they make it to another one. And if they shield this, it's a dead giveaway. They have a Fairy type in the back. I'm going to catch the Dark Pulse on a Melmetal and save my shield. So they're going to go for the Dark Pulse. Doesn't do too much. And the opponent, yeah, they definitely had a Fairy type in the back. So they concede the match there. We see a Rhyperior lead in the next battle. At this point, it's pretty obvious that this team is pretty soft to Rhyperior. I'm going to catch the move on a Melmetal. Just going to pray it's not a Breaking Swipe with a debuff. It is a Breaking Swipe, but there isn't a debuff. So now we're going to go for a double Iron Bash. Double Iron Bash, we've seen the damage it does. It does a respectable amount. I think another one will take them out. But the opponent sends out Zacian. Now, double Iron Bash Melmetal is pretty good into Zacian, but the Mud Slaps have gotten me into what I believe is close combat range. So it's not that good. I missed the Excellent on that one for some reason. Now the opponent does have to throw a close combat to take me out, at which they will just get farmed down by whatever other Pokemon I send in. They do make another close combat here. I'm going to shield it just because it does a lot of damage. And now let's see what they do. They get farmed down and then they send in Primarina. Now, I'm pretty sure having Fusion Bolt there would just let me win the game. But because I don't, I have to just switch out. And now Necrozma will have to Dark Pulse them. Dark Pulse gets the shield. At this point, I'm hoping I make it to another one. If this is a Rock Wrecker, I don't make it to another one, but I should be able to have Kyurem farm them down, provided their switch clock doesn't come up and they just leave. Now they're going to go for a Breaking Swipe here. If I don't get debuffed, I might have a chance. Of course, I get debuffed and they're able to pivot out. So this game's just fully lost now. They have a shield, so even if I had Fusion Bolt, I don't think it would KO even with the attack debuff. It might, but since we're on Stone Edge, we're not going to be able to take him out. And so yeah, well, Stone Edge is good. That does show how it's not always going to be the best. Next battle, we see a Kyogre lead. Opponent safe switches their own Kyurem, and we're just going to Stone Edge them. They should be counting my moves here. They're going to know it's not a Freeze Shock, but Stone Edge, goodbye. And now let's see what they have in the back. At this point, they send out Dialga, and at this point, Kyurem has forced them to reveal their whole team, and it's still in the green health, which is just hilarious. I send out Necrozma because I know Melmetal handles Dialga pretty well, and now I'm going to go for Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will deal some okay damage, and now the opponent going to send back out Kyogre. I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will deal some okay damage. The opponent shields it for some reason. I am not sure why they did that. So now, I'm going to send out Kyurem, and I'm just going to shield here because this could be a Blizzard. It is a Blizzard. Very happy I shielded. Now I'm going to go for a Stone Edge. Stone Edge will just take them out from this range, I think, and they shield it. Not sure why, but then they send out Dialga. Now I'm going to farm up. They're going to Draco Meteor me. Melmetal resists it and tanks it. Oh, this is just an Iron Head. Never mind. At this point, I'd make the interesting decision of going for a double Iron Bash and hoping I can farm down. They do get farmed down, which is nice. And now they can send out Kyogre. 2 superpowers will take them out, so we're going to go for superpower. And at this point, I was curious if a double Iron Bash, despite being debuffed, would KO there, and it does. We take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Kyurem into Florges. This is the same game plan of farming up to 7 and then just switching out into Melmetal to hopefully negate their energy. It does not work this time, and the opponent sends out Rhyperior. Thing is, with an energy advantage like this, Melmetal can probably flip this. As long as they don't get an early Breaking Swipe debuff, we should be fine. They're going to go for the Breaking Swipe. With my luck, this will get a debuff. So, Breaking Swipe. Actually, I don't think that did get a debuff, which is nice. Regardless, I still need 3 double Iron Bashes to take them out. So, I'm going to go for 2 of them right now. And they should make a move here, but nothing they throw should take me out. Unless, actually, no, I miscalculated my health there. Whatever they throw will take me out there. They go for another double Iron Bash, and I get it shielded, and I'm just going to snipe them with Kyurem again. At this point, Florges, it's down 2 shields, and I'm perfectly fine throwing away Kyurem and letting Necrozma sweep, but then they Trailblaze me, which just loses them the game on the spot, basically, because now Kyurem has a Freeze Shock, and now I have a full health Necrozma for whatever they have in the back. Freeze Shock, goodbye Florges. And in the back is Necrozma. Necrozma can't escape a Freeze Shock, which will deal a lot of damage despite being resisted, so the opponent concedes the match. See another Landorus lead in the next battle. Now the opponent, let's see if they shield this time, because Stone Edge, as we've seen, does a good amount of damage to him. Opponent does shield it. You can see it did no damage, even though the shield didn't appear to be up because the game's strange like that. Opponent sends out Palkia trying to snipe. And this match could get difficult. Palkia with the Dragon Breaths and 2 Aqua Tails can KO Necrozma. And I do find that kind of annoying. But so, Dark Pulse 1 will hit for some good damage, and now this one will take them out. Opponent does just let themselves get taken out though, and now if they want to get a farm down, they will have to eat a Dark Pulse. Looks like they got 1 turn in there because the move didn't sneak and it wasn't CMP, or actually I just didn't see the move sneak. But so now I'm going to send in Melmetal. Melmetal has to get their shield somehow and then send in Kyurem. So now I'm going to go for another shield. The opponent sends out Kyurem White, and this is really annoying because I'm double debuffed. I don't want to spend my energy, but I also don't want to switch out. And I don't want to farm up over 100 energy. Thankfully, the solution for this is to catch their Fusion Flare onto my Kyurem Black, and this will also reset the debuff. So now 2 double Iron Bashes should take them out here, and I should have enough energy to make it to 2 Iron Bashes before the Landorus makes it to a Sandsear. So I will make it to the double Iron Bash, and now if they have a move here, they win CMP, but I don't think they do. Looks like they don't because they didn't throw it. I'm going to go for double Iron Bash. This will take out the Landorus, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Kyurem Black into Necrozma Dawnwings. Now Shadow Claw here hits for double super effective, and as you can see, it is tearing Necrozma apart. Now, I'm going to shield here. Opponent goes for the Moongeist actually, and then they send out Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh can tank a Fusion Bolt from full health pretty well, but they cannot tank a Stone Edge. Their Ho-Oh is just gone. They send out Necrozma, that gets farmed down, and the opponent, I've taken out 2 of their Pokemon before my first Pokemon is even gone half health. The opponent realizes that's just over. They get overloaded no matter what, basically, and they just let the free shot go and they get KO'd. Not a good lead in the next battle as we see Dialga. I'm going to send out Necrozma, and I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse immediately. I did farm up to an Outrage, I believe. Maybe that would get them to shield, but I just want the guaranteed damage. Opponent then overfarms too much, and they get another Dark Pulse. This will get a shield because they have energy. Opponent waits a while, and then they send out Rhyperior. Now, if they want to keep their Rhyperior, they're going to have to go down 2 shields, which, like I said, is not good for you. So the opponent does actually just let themselves get annihilated, and then they send out Xerneas. Now, I'm going to send out Melmetal. Double Iron Bash makes this matchup a lot better. They can go for close combat, but they're going to debuff their defense, meaning they take a lot more damage from Double Iron Bash. So this will probably get a shield, and now I'm going to go for another one immediately. I expected this to be CMP, which I think Xerneas wins, and after they debuff themselves, the Double Iron Bash does a lot more damage. Unfortunately, that's incorrect. I'm just going to send out Kyurem. Kyurem will eat a close combat here, which should be fine, because Dialga actually cannot farm me down here before I make a Stone Edge, I think. So they just Iron Head snipe me. But I have a full health Melmetal. This game is completely over. Their Xerneas is at, I think, 1 HP, or very close to it. So they just get hit with 1 Thunder Shock and get KO'd, and they take the game. We see another Landorus lead in the next battle. We know how this goes. The opponent might think I just farmed up to a Fusion Bolt and I'm going straight for it, and might be inclined to no-shield it because it's resisted. Opponent does shield it though, and they're probably glad they did because that would get them really low. An opponent Sandsears me. Kind of annoying. I can survive another one, but not very well, and I don't really want to get sniped, so I'm just going to shield. Pretty sure even with 2 debuffs, Landorus gets KO'd from full HP by a free shock. I'll probably check that after this. But yeah, they just get KO'd by that free shock, and now they send out their own Kyurem. I'm just going to pivot out into my Necrozma, because Necrozma does tank a Fusion Bolt. Not very well, but it will, and now I'll be able to make it to a Sunsteel. Now, if Sunsteel gets shielded, I'm not surprised by that. Now I can set out my own Kyurem, and I will be able to just let this move go, give Melmetal the shield advantage, and basically get the Kyurem to a lot lower energy. And now, I'm just going to let this Fusion Bolt go through. I'm hoping whatever they have in the back is weak to Melmetal. Opponent is going to catch my Double Iron Bash on a Necrozma, and that just signals game over. I can't hit them for any meaningful damage without debuffing myself, and then I'll just get farmed down by Shadow Claws, so we do lose that game. Into the next battle, we lead Kyurem Black into Mewtwo. Now, having Stone Edge makes this worse just because of pacing, but Kyurem tanks a Psy Strike and will still be able to make it to a move. So, thankfully, Kyurem wins CMP. It's always fun to win CMP against Mewtwo. But so now, I'm going to be able to go for a free shock. Opponent lets it go, actually. Now, I'm going to save some energy on my Kyurem, send out Necrozma into their Metagross. Opponent goes for a move here. This could be an Earthquake, so I'm going to shield. It is just a Meteor Mash, obviously. And then they send out their own Kyurem. Now, they still don't know that I have access to Stone Edge, so we'll see if they're going to realize that. They're going to go for a Fusion Bolt here. It won't take me out. It'll come pretty close, and I don't think I can make a Sunsteel, but a Dark Pulse should deal enough damage. I think a Dark Pulse would put them in a Double Iron Bash range, but since they shielded, I'm just going to Stone Edge them. This will almost take them out. 1 Thunder Shock takes them out, and that Metagross is way too low. We take the game. We see a very familiar lead in the next battle as we lead Kyurem into Landorus. Now we'll see if this opponent lets the Stone Edge go. I think we have a 1 for 2 for Pokemon letting this go. And now we have a 1 for 3 as this Landorus is also shielded. So now they're going to Sandsear Storm me. And if they want to go for another Sandsear Storm, that's probably fine. They decide to send out their own Kyurem Black though. And they're just going to go for a Fusion Bolt into my Melmetal. Now Melmetal should be able to make it to enough Double Iron Bashes to take them out without having to commit too many shields. So 1 Double Iron Bash does some okay damage, And at this point, Superpower will take him out, Double Iron Bash won't, so it's a pretty obvious choice. Yeah, I debuff myself, but that's fine. Opponent's going to have to eat a Double Iron Bash, even though it is debuffed. And I'm just going to send out Kyurem again, go for Stone Edge. This will get them to shield, I guess. And now if they want to take me out, they can, but I'm going to commit a shield first, because I don't want the debuff to be applied to my Necrozma. So now they're going to throw double Sandsteers, and now I can just send in Necrozma after, and get a full farm down. Now, this will be fine. It doesn't matter if I'm debuffed, Sunsteel will hit like a truck anyways. Especially when it's a fairy type in the back like Xerneas. So now, this Sunsteel Strike, despite being debuffed, will still probably take him out. So yeah, gets him within one Shadow Claw, and the game's over. Into the next battle, and we lead Kyurem Black into Rhyperior. Pretty bad lead, we've seen it before. It's kind of annoying, this team doesn't really like Rhyperior that much. I'm very good at building teams that are bad into Rhyperior, but whatever. Gonna send out Melmetal, opponent's gonna go for another Breaking Swipe. This won't do too much damage, and it doesn't even get the debuff, which is very nice. Now, Double Iron Bash, we've seen it into Rhyperior before. We're not gonna see it this time, though, it's shielded, but now we're gonna be able to go for another one. This does get a lot of damage, so opponent lets it go. If they want to go for a Rock Wrecker, that'll probably take me out, but a Breaking Swipe will not. Breaking Swipe does get the debuff though, which is actually really bad, just because now Double Iron Bash doesn't take him out. I'm going to send out Kyurem to get a farm down though, and now I just have a Stone Edge and a bunch of energy. Opponent sends out Ho-Oh, they're down a shield, they are not going to shield here. Expecting a Fusion Bolt, but their Ho-Oh is just gone, and Xerneas pops in and concedes the match immediately. Overall, Kyurem Black with Stone Edge, it's not preferred, obviously. You're going to want to run Fusion Bolt, because Fusion Bolt's an amazing move. But Stone Edge is very fun, just for the surprise factor. People tend to not expect a Rock-type nuke move, or at least that's what I presume Stone Edge is, from Kyurem Black, of all things. As a result, you saw a lot of people get really caught off guard by that, and it's just very fun to run. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.